In this video, I'm going to show you 5 jazz patterns used by players like Wes Montgomery, John Coltrane, Sonny Stitt, McCoy Tyner, and many others. These aren't random exercises. They are actually patterns taken directly from real jazz solos. And by the end of this video, you not only know the patterns themselves, but you also learn the exact lines where the masters used them, so you can start hearing and using the sounds in your own improvisation. Let's get started. Before we jump into the patterns, let's quickly define what I mean by a pattern. A pattern is simply a sequence of notes that repeats while moving through a scale. For example, let's take the pattern 1-3. On a C major scale, that gives us C and E. Now we can move that same shape through the scale. D, F, E, G, F, A, G, B, A, C, B, D. We can also move it descending. When learning patterns, I recommend writing down only the first shape and then figuring out the rest directly on your instrument. You'll learn them much faster that way. The reason patterns are so powerful is that they help you create long, flowing lines without having to think about every single note. Instead of improvising one note at a time, you're improvising with shapes and patterns. And that's exactly what the great jazz musicians did. So let's take a look at our first pattern. Before I show you the pattern, let's listen to this line from Wes Montgomery. And here is Sonny Stitt using the same idea. And also McCoy Tyner using the same idea. Sounds pretty sophisticated, right? Well, it's actually built from a very simple pattern. We have a chromatic approach note from below followed by a descending triad. You can think about this pattern as chromatic below to the 5th, then we play the 3rd and 1. This is probably one of the most common jazz patterns you'll hear in bebop language. Notice that it's usually played descending through the scale. So let's learn it on the C major scale. Now let me show you the Wes Montgomery line. I will play it slowly and leave out the octaves so we can focus entirely on the pattern itself. Now let's move on to pattern number 2. First, listen to John Coltrane playing it at the beginning of his solo on Mr. PC. This is one of those patterns that instantly sounds like jazz. The formula for this pattern is 1, chromatic below to 1, and then 3. Let's use the C natural minor scale. So, starting on C, we get C, B, C, and E flat. Notice that Coltrane moves this pattern ascending through the scale. Now, let's apply this to the entire C natural minor scale. Now let's learn the actual line from Coltrane's solo. I will play it slowly so it's easier to hear and learn. Before we continue, if you like all the examples from this video in notation and tabs, plus materials from many of my other lessons, you can download my free jazz guitar ebook using the link in the description. It's completely free and includes all of the examples written out so you can practice them more effectively. Just click the link below and grab your copy today. Now let's take a look at pattern number 3. This one is really interesting because we organized the triad in 6 triplets. Let's listen to Herbie playing it on his solo over All of You from the album My Fun Valentine with Miles Davis. By the way, Herbie was only around 23 or 24 years old on this recording. Pretty incredible, right? So, This pattern breaks down a triad into groups of 6 triplets. We're gonna have 3-1-3, 5-3-5. Let's use the C major scale. Starting on C, we get E, C, E, G, E, G. Now let's move it through the whole C major scale. Now let's learn a fragment of Herbie's line. Again, I'll play it slower so it's easier to hear exactly what's happening. Now let's look at pattern number 4. Listen to Sonny Stitt using it on Eternal Triangle. This pattern is commonly used over the diminished scale. We can analyze it in 2 different ways. We can think as 1-7-1-2, or we can think as 1 chromatic below 1-2. Let's hear it on a C diminished scale. Starting on C, we get C, B, C, D. Now, here's something interesting. Unlike the previous patterns, this one doesn't move through the scale in seconds, it moves in thirds. So instead of C, D, E flat, F, etc., we get C, E flat, G flat, A. That gives us a very distinctive sound. Let's hear the full pattern. Now, let's learn the line that Sonny Stitt played on Eternal Triangle. Again, I'll show it slowly for you so it makes it easier to learn. Now, for our final pattern, listen to George Coleman using it on Hurry. This one also moves in thirds, but unlike the previous pattern, it also moves down through the scale. The formula for this pattern is 1 chromatic below, diatonic above 2-1. Let's use C major scale. If we start on A, we get A, G sharp as the chromatic below, B as the diatonic from above, and then A as 1. Now let's move this pattern to the C major scale. One thing that's really interesting about using patterns is that you don't have to run the pattern through the entire scale. You can just use a small fragment. And then after that, you can connect to another idea. That's exactly what George Coleman does in this line. Let's learn it slowly on the guitar. Now here's what I want you to do. Don't just memorize these patterns. Take each one and practice it in all 12 keys. Then try inserting them into your own solos. Maybe start a phrase with the pattern or end a phrase with the pattern. That's where the real magic happens. All the jazz masters I show you playing the jazz patterns today, they didn't only know the patterns. They had them so deeply internalized that they could put them out anywhere, in any key, at any time. If you enjoyed this lesson, make sure to subscribe and also leave a like on this video. And be sure to check out the other videos I have on my channel for more jazz language like this, and also improvisation and guitar lessons. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.